Hi everybody, it's Sarah and I'm in my kitchen, so come on in and let's make some fettuccine noodles. So if you want to write this down, these are the ingredients you're going to need. Let me put you over here. You're going to need 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 2.5 cups all-purpose flour, 4 room temperature eggs. You don't want them to be cold because it might make your dough a little bit too stiff. Make sure they're at room temperature. Take a fork and just whip them and mix them up, okay? And also, you're going to need a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'm gonna put a teaspoon in mine. It varies. You be the judge of that as to how much you wanna put in yours. But remember, flour doesn't have flavor. So my salt, I use Celtic salt, which has 92 minerals, and that's going to help give it flavor. So I'm gonna put a teaspoon in mine. Another thing that I'm going to also include, my mother always put a little dab of milk in her noodles. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna follow Mama's instructions. So anyway, and then what you wanna do is get all of these out, get them pre-measured out, make this easy, okay? And the way to do that is to get them all pre-measured out. And then I have my fettuccine noodle maker here. I've had it probably 45 years, okay? And also I have sheet pans. Let me show you this. I have my sheet pans with semolina flour. So this is where I'm gonna come and place the fettuccine noodles down on the semolina flour. And what that's going to do is keep the flour, or I'm sorry, keep the noodle from mixing together, and so it'll keep them separated. So, okay, so let's get to it, okay? So here's my 2.5 cups of flour, and I'm gonna use this nice big spoon. I'm not gonna use my hands initially. I get into it with my hands later. But, okay, so I'm gonna make a well. I'm gonna put the salt in, mix that around a little bit. After that, I'm gonna put my 4 eggs in. Remember, they're room temperature. And also, which I forgot to mention this when I gave you the ingredients, you're gonna need a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of oil. I like to use my avocado oil. You can use olive oil or whatever oil you use, but it's basically like a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons, and you'll know when you get starting to mix if the flour seems too dry. So I just taken the spoon and I just fluff the flour into the liquid. Just keep spinning it until it starts to get the flour all moist. Yeah, just keep going. When it does, then we're going to take and dump it out onto the floured surface and roll it. But it's really easy to do. You just have to have your ingredients all set, ready to go. Now see, with that oil and those 4 eggs, it seems a little dry to me, so I'm just gonna add a little more, maybe another tablespoon of oil, and now I'm gonna start adding in some milk. And you could call that a tablespoon of milk. You just want your dough to where it's moist, where it's picked up all the 2.5 cups of flour in the dish before I pour it out onto my surface. Just keep kneading it in the bowl. And if it seems dry, just pour it in. You want that to be nice and moist. Okay. Now we're going to have to take it out. And put it on the counter. Just put that in the water. And I pulled out flour here. So I'm just going to sprinkle some flour here on my surface and put some in my hands. And go in and dump this out. There we go. Let's get this out of the way. Now we're just going to start pulling it together and just start kneading it. You just pull it towards you and push it back. Pull it towards you and push it back. Just keep doing that until it forms that nice dough. Just pull it together and push it back. It will. And put all the extra that's laying underneath here. Pull it and make sure it gets mixed in. And if the mixture feels too moist, then I just add more flour. And it'll soak that flour right up. So just knead it until it forms a nice, and it's taken in all that flour and forms a nice little dough. See, now that's not hard, right? You can do that. So 2½ cups of flour, all purpose, for room temperature eggs, maybe a ½ teaspoon to a teaspoon of salt, and 1 to 2 tablespoons of oil. That's my recipe. Now, you see, it formed that nice ball, see? So, I'm gonna put cellophane on this, and I'm gonna let it rest for 20 minutes. And I'll be back. Hi everybody again, I'm back, and my dough has rested for 20 minutes, so let's take it out and finish the fettuccine. I just let it sit on the counter. I didn't put it in the fridge or anything. Okay, I put some flour on your surface. Place your dough on there. I'm going to take my bench cutter scraper and cut it in quarters. Cut it in half and cut it in half again, giving me 4 parts. Okay. I'm going to take my cellophane paper that they were wrapped in and cover them back over so they don't dry out while I work the first one. See, in that 20 minutes time, I was able to clean up the counter, wash up those little bits of dishes, and I didn't even have to have this out, but I already had it in place. So it's easy. Make it easy. Make it easy on yourself, right? So now with this dough, I'm going to kind of shape it into a rectangle, okay? I'm going to press it out into a rectangle. Because remember, it's going to fit down between the slots in the machine. Now, if you don't have a machine, that's okay. You just have to roll it out thin. And then what I would do is roll it into a roll, like a log, and then just slice it down whatever thickness you want. You want wide noodles, you want fettuccine noodles, or you want spaghetti noodles. So once you get this into a rectangle, I'm going to take my rolling pin, flour it, and I'm just going to roll it out a little bit. And remember, you're going to be sending it down through the machine, so it doesn't have to be super flat, just flat enough to go through. My machine has 6 different settings. I'm going to start at 1. but I'm not going to go beyond 4 for fettuccine. So see, and I'm just going to take it and put it in there and just turn the crank. See how easy? See how it grew? So now you can either fold this in half or you can triple it. I like to triple mine like that. It's called booking. And then I'm going to put it back down through. So the first time you do it, you're going to do it twice. After that, I'm only going to do it one time in each one of the different settings up to number 4 setting. So I have to move this to number 2 slot, and the slots keep getting thinner and thinner, narrow, narrow, narrow. So let's send this down through number 2. Lay it, grab it down here. See? Let's move it to number 3. Beautiful. I tell you, that little bit of extra oil and that little bit of milk, to me, made that dough really nice. Just moist enough. You don't want it super moist, but you don't want it super dry either. And you want to keep that floured, but dust the flour off. And let's move this to number 4 now. And this is our last one that we're going to do. We're going to stop at 4. See how big the sheets get? Look at that. Look at that. How can you not want to make these? How can you not want to make these for your family, right? So now I'm going to take the bench press, and I don't know, I kind of like 10 inches for my fettuccinis. So I'm going to get 3 of these. You might like 12, but I'm going to stop at approximately 10. Now this comes out, and I'm going to slide it up here for the fettuccine cutting part. Let me get it in here. Okay. Being a little stubborn. There we go. And now let's make some fettuccine noodles. So I'm going to start it, lay it back here, come around on this side, put my hand, whoops, can you see? Can you see? Yes. Put my hand here. Look at this. Is that beautiful? Beautiful. Keep them loose. I'll catch that. And I'm going to take it over. And remember that tray that I had the semolina flour in? I just laid it in the tray. So let's do the second sheet. Look, see, it's the width of the machine. Whoops, that's spaghetti. Lay it this way, come around here, grab it, loosely grab it, and pull it through. Beautiful. Now you don't want to leave these laying in there very long, because if you leave them too long, they're going to dry. Which, nothing wrong with that. You buy dry noodles in the store, right? But these are nice if they're still nice and moist. Look at that. It's just beautiful. Love it. So let's do one more. Remember, let's get you back over here so you can see. Okay, keep the surface floured. Pat these into a rectangle. to start with. Keep them well floured and roll it out. Okay, now remember we got to take this off of here, put it back in to this slot. And we got to move this back to the #1 setting. We'll get it in here. I don't know why it wants to be a little stubborn. Got to find the right. There we go. So, feels a little dry, so let's put a little flour on there. Got to have enough flour dusting so it goes through the machine. Let's fold it and put it down through one more time. Grab it from underneath and crank it through. Dust it with flour. Flip it, dust it, brush it off. Change this to #2. Let's send it down through. Beautiful. Drag it into flour, flip it, dust it, change it to #3. Are you getting the hang of it? You got a nice little system going. You can even make a double batch and then pull it on through. Let's change this now to #4. If you want to freeze these, they absolutely freeze up nicely. So what you can do is you can kind of like roll them in like a little nest and put a little pan with parchment paper and sit them on the parchment paper individually and just pop them in on the shelf in the freezer and let them freeze individually like that. Once they're frozen, then you can take them out and put them in a freezer bag or some kind of freezer container. This is #4. This is our last one. And they freeze up nicely. Then when it's time, you can cook them already frozen. Get your water boiling, salt the water, and just put them down through in the hot water. Wow, that one was really long. Let's take our bench scraper and we're going to do about 10 inches again. Wow, now see, this one's a little bit longer, so I'm just going to go ahead and do just the 3. Change this up. There it went in. Easy this time. Lay it this way. Come over here. Take your thumb and your hand. Let me get you over here so you can see what I'm doing here now. And there we go. Just make sure you have enough flour dusting on it. We're going to have some pasta. Make you some fresh pasta sauce. If you don't have sauce, remember you can always cook those noodles and just put some butter and oil and Parmesan cheese. It doesn't always have to be pasta sauce. Beautiful. Here you go. Look at that. Is that not beautiful? So I would let those rest. If I were going to cook those up right now, I would let those rest maybe 10 minutes and then get your water boiling and just put them right down in that water, and you'll be having a spaghetti dinner before long, okay? You don't need to watch me making the rest of them, but you get the idea, and you should be able to make your own now. So if you do, let me know. Let me know. I like to know if these videos are helping you. And so my nieces, my granddaughter, all you guys, come on. I enjoy that. I like to share the knowledge that I have and pass it on. So make some fettuccine and show me. Give me some pictures, okay? Love you guys. Bye. Okay, just a little footnote here. A couple things. So I finished my fettuccine and got all them done. But I also decided to do the spaghetti as well. So can you see? Yeah. So I got a tray of spaghetti and I got a tray of fettuccine. And for the machine, there it is. And so what it does is it clamps on this thing here, and then you clamp it, and I have to clamp it to my counter. And so I have to open this drawer. So in order to keep any flour or anything from going in, I put a clean cloth in the drawer. And so that way, if anything falls, then I just fold it up, dust it out, and put it in the laundry. So that was a little tip for you. So again, I hope you make them. I'm looking forward to some spaghetti tomorrow. Maybe I'll do spaghetti instead of fettuccine tomorrow. So anyway, shoot me a picture if you do make it. And if you have any questions, leave me a comment. I'll be happy to answer if I can. All right, everybody. Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.